Hello, welcome to the allotment on this grey Sunday morning at the end of June.
I will be talking today about succession planting while Nigel is trying to avoid the camera as much as possible. So in this bed I have left still a couple of Rolo Rosso lettuce, and the rest of it is planted with leek. This is the first succession in this bed. I have to say onions, which I planted last year, didn't do very well at all, but we amended the bed, put a little bit more compost on top, and let's see how that goes on. These are new beds, so there is no succession planting, but in this bed we had previously, well, I just finished some of the cauliflowers, and amongst the cauliflowers I planted, let me just show you, I planted some celeriac, and now when the spinach and cauliflowers are finished, I planted some celery. Well, celery is the same group as celeriac, so they get on very well together. There is still a little bit of spinach left, and that's supposed to be cauliflower, but it's actually broccoli. So that is definitely succession planting. Last year we had beans in this bed. We don't really strictly follow the crop rotation. These are really, we do try when we can, but I don't think it's a massively big deal because we don't have any disease so far, and also we're not planting anything on a big scale, and we don't dig, so this soil structure is very healthy. Now in this bed, I'm just going to take the netting off. In this bed we had previously onion, which I harvested early on, in beginning of June or end of May, I can't remember. And now I've planted here bush beans, and on the other some a succession of sweet peas. They're germinating very unevenly at the moment, so there are big gaps and some in various stages, but we will persevere and stick a few more if necessary. Now in this bed where we have peppers, there is some spring onions still, and some of them will come up quite soon, and some garlic. So I will be thinking what I might plant some spare tomatoes, or they would go quite well actually. This is according to polycultures and what you can plant with what, and companion planting. They all kind of intertwines itself when you think of succession planting, polycultures and companion planting. Well, in this bed we have tomatoes, but there's another example of succession planting. This was the bed where I had Swiss chard and perpetual spinach, and there was some deal in salad leaves last year. So we do have a volunteer salad. Obviously something did go to seed and dropped, and we have lots of dill, and I love that because I use dill in lots of my cooking. I've planted some Attica root parsley, so it's both like parsnip and parsley, and beetroot amongst the celeriac and celery. So these are celeriac, but at the end of the bed there are also celeries planted and dotted beetroot amongst them. I think it looks incredibly attractive actually, I will, especially on a small scale when we don't need masses of one thing, beetroot, or it's quite nice to have them coming up and then planting a little bit extra in different places. But this is definitely my succession bed planting. So this is another one of the succession bed planting. I actually moved earlier on in a year strawberries from that bed, and then I sown parsley and Swiss chard, because we were finishing the other bed, so I didn't want to be necessarily without Swiss chard. And that's about it. We haven't got Owen. No, there is one more. Broad beans, which we're harvesting now. And last year we had here potatoes, and when they finished in about November, I've planted broad beans, overwintering broad beans Aquadulce Claudia in this space. Now they are almost finishing now, and as soon as I pull them out, I might plant another lot of later or winter brassicas. And obviously we have still volunteer potatoes here from last year, because that's where the potatoes were, and I don't know how people, please do let me know if you know how to get rid of the volunteer potatoes. I am quite careful and try to get all of them out, but I can't stress how important it is, because I've got sweet corn planted here, and the potatoes just have taken completely over. So there will be once we harvest all of the broad beans, which is still quite loads to harvest, all this space except for the few corn will be sort of planted with other things. I might have still have some leeks left over, and we love leeks, so probably more leeks, more brassicas, maybe berlotto beans. So every time we dig up some potatoes, I'm gonna try to fill with another crop. As you can see, that really definitely applies to the potato bed, because as we are clearing the first early potatoes and we harvest them as we need them, I've just planted some leeks here, and I'm hoping the rain later on today will kind of really make them stand up and own this space. So that's just to show you, I've planted another lot of sweet corn, and they are doing quite nicely out there where we had the failed raspberry. Well, it's not exactly succession planting, but the bed was there. We cleared up the space, and this is still to be done, and again put some different plants in because the raspberries failed. Another example of succession planting is this bed where we have peppers, and they're recovering from the attack of the birds when they were first planted. They're looking much better, but we had whole winter here, we had absolutely spectacular purple sprouting broccoli and garlic, and the garlic hasn't done very well, but the peppers are doing now okay. Let me just show you. So here they are. The garlic will have to come out very soon. I don't think it's form close, but we've harvested the purple sprouting broccoli in this bed in they were quite early, so they were about February, late January, whole February we're harvesting them, and the garlic was interplanted there. Well, the broccoli long gone, and now we have the peppers in that bed, and they have recovered from attacks of whatever it was, which made them look like, as I said previously, French lace. So they are doing better and starting to have flowers, and I'm not going to pinch those flowers anymore. I let them actually come to some fruit. Same in this bed. This used to be root vegetable, some beetroots. This spring onion is still last year's spring onion. It's actually formed small onions now. That will need to come out. and we will plant other things in there. I have to think maybe some salads or such like crops, and also these garlic. So we will have to maybe also some basil, or I haven't got a clue yet. I think about what actually I would like to eat. Succession planting is not only about vegetables. We do that all the time in our garden. So this was a spring bed up till half an hour ago, or maybe an hour ago. But now it's completely cleared of, completely past the pink verbascum and the lupines and some of the irises, actually all of the irises, and some of the tulips, and has been now replanted with the summer blooms, and it's mainly again bee friendly, and in this case we get very few honeybees on this. They are mainly bumblebees and they look fantastic. So I've replaced my spring bulbs and lupines and so on. At the moment it all looks a little bit sparse. Also there is a lovely Nepeta blue dragon right there in the middle, and that's a really big flowered Nepeta, and give it 2-3 weeks, the bed should fill out and complement the verbascum and the dahlias and the cosmos and salvia viridi, and you know, this is different kind, but still succession planting. I'm going to replant those lovely daisies at the edge there, at the fence, to keep the grasses at bay, and they will look fabulous there while not choking everything in this border. But we will again in autumn plant some more bulbs here to give us fabulous display when spring comes. And just to prove it, is a fantastic specimen of a bee just there. In fact, I had to fight them off when I was planting the plants, because they were sitting on them and wouldn't let me plant them. So that's it from us today. It's probably slightly shorter video, and that might be a good thing. But yes, I hope to see you next week. Have a look if you would like to see any more from us. Do subscribe and let us know. Have your thoughts, put some comments in. Again, if you know how to make sure that the volunteer potatoes are not going to happen next year, please let me know, because I'm very, very careful. But I just don't think that is absolutely possible to eradicate them. Once they are there, it's actually quite nice to have an extra crop. But till next week, thank you very much and goodbye. Definitely free of oxydaisies.